Hey guys, welcome back to the Ringside Bets podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the Jake Paul versus Ben Askren fight happening on Saturday. We have UFC, Vegas 24, and now we have Ben Askren versus Jake Paul, the fight that we thought was never going to happen.
It is Christmas.
I know, but it actually is happening. So we're going to start by breaking down the weigh-ins that happened today, then we'll get into the betting analysis, and then after that, we're just going to have a nice little discussion between us two on who we think is going to win that fight. So I'm going to let Noah take the reins. He watched the weigh-in. I did not. Take it away.
All right, so we had Jake Paul coming in at 190.5 pounds. He looked pretty good on the scale. I'm really excited to see if he comes in a little bit more buffer. We saw him in the Nate Robinson fight come in looking around 200 pounds. He usually weighs around 200 pounds just on the streets. We had Ben Askren coming in at 190 on the dot. He usually weighs way under. I'm pretty sure during his UFC fights he was around 185.
No, he was 170 pounds, so it's a little different Ben Askren that we've seen in the UFC. Obviously 20 pounds heavier. Also, the weight limit for that fight was 193 pounds. So both guys coming in underneath the weight limit, but looking good. I mean, I didn't see any of them in rough shape. I thought that they looked really good, and we had the open workouts that happened 2 days ago. Ben Askren's technical boxing skill looked a little bit better than we've seen in the past. So it's kind of a wild card fight, right? When we saw Conor versus Floyd, we saw, Conor McGregor at the height of his fame and his career, and he looked damn good. And, he always has Nosferatu. He always has that left hand that knocks people out. A lot of people gave Conor a chance because he just had that knockout power in the left hand. So it's a little bit different than that fight because now we have a YouTube star turned boxer. He's 3-0. He's fought two YouTube stars as well, and they fought Nate Robinson. And then we have Ben Askren, not known for his striking, wrestler, one champion, Bellator champion, and then went into the UFC, didn't really have a great UFC transition. Obviously, Jorge Masvidal, then he got him. It's a weird wild card fight. We thought that this fight was never going to happen. We actually thought that, if anything, it was going to be Conor McGregor stepping in against Jake Paul. But now we have Ben Askren. The MMA community seems to be behind Ben Askren in this. Obviously, the boxing community behind Jake Paul. It's a weird fight. It's a weird fight. But I'm looking forward to it. We already bought the pay-per-view. We're excited for it. Now let's get into the betting odds. So Jake Paul comes in at the favorite of minus 190 to Ben Askren's plus 127. So obviously a lot of people have seen Jake Paul knock people out. 2 YouTube stars, Nate Robinson. He's gotten 3 TKOs, technically a KO, and Nate Robinson walked to sleep. Rest in peace. But it's and then you have Ben Askren, the MMA fighter, wrestler, not really known for his striking, like I said, but coming in as the underdog at plus 127. So I personally like Ben Askren in this fight. I think we've seen Jake Paul knock his opponents out within 3 rounds. I think if this fight goes past 3 rounds, this is my outlook on it. I really don't have a decisive, Ben Askren's going to win in the 5th round by TKO. I don't have a decisive bet on that. I think if it goes past the 3rd round, I think Ben Askren's cardio is going to take over. I think he's going to look much better than Jake Paul. I also think that he's just going to have the competitive edge because he's been in that situation before. He's had to grind out in the 4th and 5th rounds before. I think it's kind of going to go and play along that line. So I think if it goes past 3 rounds, then I have probably Ben Askren inside of 6 rounds. I think he walks off with a TKO. I think Jake just gets super tired, keeps hitting him with body shots, keeps hitting him with headshots, and I think Ben takes it. But if Ben can survive those 3 rounds of those power shots, because you got to think, right? As you said, Jake Paul always comes in at 200 pounds. He usually walks around about 200 pounds. I think he's 6'3". He's a big dude. Mm-hmm. So it's the amount of muscle that he has on him. How tired is he gonna get after those 3 rounds? Is he going to be in great cardio shape? Is he going to be able to keep the pressure on? Is he going to be able to keep that knockout power or keep those, he's got a really good jab. I've seen that in the past 3 fights. He has a really good jab. Now, does his boxing skill stay the same throughout the, whether it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rounds? Or is it going to be, he starts to panic a little bit. He's not getting it done inside 3 rounds. So I'm going to go with Ben Askren here. I think if it goes past 3 rounds, Ben Askren's competitive edge and cardio is just going to take over, but you had a different outlook on it.
Yeah, so the way I see it, Jake Paul, I feel like it's going to be the winner, but unlike what PJ said, I feel like it's going to decision, mainly because we've seen Ben Askren in the UFC. The guy has an iron chin, except for, the knee. So the guy is immortal. Like, he has an iron chin, and I feel like there's no way that Jake Paul can knock him out. And if he does, then good for him. But I have no feeling in my heart that he's gonna knock him out. So I'm saying it goes all the way to decision, and Jake Paul is gonna take it. Ben Askren talked about it. He had 18 months off the UFC to this event. And not only that, he was taking this fight to work on his cardio after he had, was it rib surgery?
I'm not.
He had surgery.
Yeah, he had surgery.
He had surgery, and he took this fight to gain back his cardio and make sure that he was healthy. He was saying either this or wrestling, and he took this. I truly feel like this wasn't all about boxing for Ben Askren, but I feel like Jake Paul has something to prove. I just don't think he's going to knock out Ben Askren, so I think it's going to go to decision.
I can't disagree with that. Like I said, I think if it goes past 3 rounds, I think Ben has it. But you said if it goes past 3 rounds and Jake doesn't get it done, then I think Jake will end up taking that in decision. So obviously 2 opposing views, but it's such a wild card fight. It's so hard to predict. I've never been in a situation where I can look at a fight and be like, wow, I have no idea how this is gonna go. Because Ben Askren, not known for his striking. Jake Paul, known for his striking, but has only fought YouTube stars and an NBA star. So it's such a weird fight.
And also the fact that he's only gone 3 rounds. And
Exactly.
Obviously, that's a great accomplishment to have because all of them have been KOs.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I feel like they're both going to be tired towards those last few rounds because I don't even know what this fight's scheduled for, how many rounds. I heard Jake saying that he's prepared for 8. I don't know if that means they're going 8 rounds or if he's just prepared to fight 8 rounds. Like, that's how good his cardio is. But that's what he said. I don't know.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm excited for it. We have 2 great events. We also have Bellator tonight. I personally, I'm kind of just getting into the world of Bellator, so I'm not going to make any picks right now. But as we keep going along with this podcast, I think we start to get into the Bellator scene a little bit more.
There's one more topic I want to talk to you about. I want to know your opinion on what would be next if Jake Paul knocks him out. I'm saying.
If Jake Paul knocks out Ben Askren, do you feed him to another UFC guy? Do you feed him to someone who's known for their striking in the UFC or in mixed martial arts? Or do you go to an actual boxer?
So I know there have been talks with Nate Diaz, which is just absurd to think about. I don't think it would ever happen.
Nate Diaz doesn't even need boxing gloves at that point. He's just going to Stockton slap him all the way around.
But I don't think he would go for another MMA fighter. I think maybe he looks for the money fight with Conor, like if that's even a possibility.
It's going to depend. I think, sorry to cut you off, but I think it will depend on what happens between Conor and Dustin in the 3rd trilogy fight. That's what you got to love about the world of fighting. There's so many possibilities coming up. If Conor loses to Dustin, what does he have lined up? He either has retirement, a Nate Diaz trilogy, maybe a celebrity boxing fight against Manny Pacquiao, or Jake Paul.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be interesting to see. I think it is.
We've already heard from Ben Askren. He said that if he loses this fight, he's just gonna return back to coaching his wrestling studio. Like, no matter what, he believes that there's nothing to lose here. And if he wins, he's talked about doing another boxing fight with a YouTuber, or even going back to wrestling and fighting in I forgot what the place is called, but he wants to wrestle. He wants to wrestle if he does win. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how this weekend goes.
Super funny thing about this fight, especially for Jake Paul and Ben Askren, was, I don't know if you saw Darren Till's tweet about it, but Darren Till said that he was going to start a GoFundMe if Ben Askren just takes him down in the first round and ground and pounds him. Now, Jake Paul actually stated that if Ben does any MMA moves on Jake, that he was going to completely take his purse away and all that stuff, right? Jake obviously making threats in that way, threats that he cannot actually have come to fruition, right?
Yeah.
Because the funniest thing is Ben Askren came out and said, even if I take him down and ground and pound him, I'm still getting a paycheck. So it'll be interesting. The funniest thing that would happen in this fight is if, you know, Ben is losing really badly in the third round, and then all of a sudden his MMA like mindset takes over and just legitimately wrestles him down to the ground and either submits him or ground and pounds him, dude. I would laugh my ass off. I would actually die laughing if that happened. It's gonna be a fun weekend. I'm excited, and it's obviously the main card for the Jake Paul and Ben Askren fight is at what time?
The event starts at 8 p.m. main event, and they're saying that they're gonna be around. There's 5 fights, I believe, on the card. So he's gonna be around like 10. I'm saying.
I think it might probably go to like 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
The only difficult thing is me and Noah are obviously going to have 2 screens up because we're going to be watching UFC on one screen and then the Paul and Askren fight on the other one.
If you guys haven't seen that video yet, make sure to check out our channel, click on that little logo right there, and then go check out that video.
Make sure you get your betting odds in for tomorrow night. Guys, this has been fun. Ringside Podcast number 2 done. See you guys later.
Adios.